Today, we're talking to Alex and Paul from Seattle. They have just completed the middle portion of the 333 program. So they've done 3 days and 3 weeks, and they've agreed to talk to us about the progress that they've seen so far and their experience in the program. Hi, Alex and Paul.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell everyone what was going on in your life before you found me?
Yeah, a little bit of chaos. August was in speech therapy, occupational therapy. We were, running him around all these different therapies and nothing was changing. He was in it for about at least a year. Um, and he was not communicating. I mean, it was just a lot of screaming, crying, frustration on his part. Uh, he wasn't communicating any kind of wants or needs or I mean, he wasn't even calling, me mom or dad. He wasn't using names. He was very much addicted to devices. So he would kind of just be in his own little world. And all he wanted to do was, watch kids' YouTube or watch his, space um, YouTube shows. Just very disengaged with everyone and everything around
The world.
around
He was
him.
just
Yeah.
disengaged with the world.
Yeah, and it was kind of like us and our daughter, and then here, and then August.
And when you reached out to me, August was 3, right?
Mhm.
And I think you reached out because you were concerned about toileting,
Yes.
right? So the three of us had a conversation about why I thought toileting wasn't working. And what made you want to hire me?
I mean, I guess just that short conversation we had with you, um, it kind of opened our eyes. Like, this is obviously a much bigger thing that needs to be addressed. I found the Facebook group, and then when I saw, you could reach out to you, I was like, oh well, we're having this one issue in our minds. It was like everything would be great if we could potty train and be out of diapers. And then talking to you, it's like, oh, nothing is nothing is really great right now. We're having communication issues. He wouldn't sit at the table with us. He would just get up and run around, and nothing was cohesive. We'll do anything to help our son, and what we had been doing was not helping.
Uh, we we were kind of lost in an endless sea of therapy.
We had spent a whole year of speech therapy. We had gone to 3 different therapists. Nothing was changing. OT, it was fun. It was great. And he loved, his therapist, but like nothing was coming out of it.
Yeah.
And then talking to you, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense.
So you did OT and speech for a year, and you've done the 333 program, just the first 2 sections, so 3 days and 3 weeks. So you've done it for a month.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of progress have you seen?
I mean, it's night and day. And it was like tantrums constantly. So he is so engaged. Paul works graveyard. And when he comes home in the morning, August will run out and be like, good morning, daddy. Like, we just never. I mean, he calls him dad, like calls me mama, like calls my mom grandma, and like sissy. And he even points to him and be like, August. Like the fact that he knows he is August is crazy. Like, so he was a labeler, right? So like he knew the planets, he knew, but there was no human to human interaction, conversation whatsoever. Never eye contact. It was never intention behind it. Um, that we just craved. And now, I mean, I, I don't know, like we every morning we look at each other and are just like, we just never thought
Yeah.
we would be. I mean,
Not a month ago.
we were hoping in years we would be somewhere like this. Just today at school, dropped him off. He, let go of my hand, turned around, was like, bye bye, mama, and then walked right into school. Where like he used to latch onto me, screaming, crying, but there was no communication. I mean, there was no, mama, I don't want to go. It was like, and now he's just like, bye, mom. I'm like, bye. Before, it might be like, do you want this or this? And he might like grunt or point. Now it's gonna be like, I want, be like this one, and like verbalizes this one. It's clicked. It's clicked that words mean something, that words get him something. It all clicked within a month with no therapies.
And tell me about how August's relationship, so he's 3 still, his relationship with his sister, Annabelle, who's 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell me how that's changed.
They love each other now.
Yeah.
They love each other now? Is that what you said?
Before,
So they didn't love each other a month ago?
I mean, I don't know. We didn't know.
Yeah.
It was hard to tell, because August again was in his own little world. She wanted to get some kind of interaction with him, play with him, and he just wasn't there. Like they didn't have that. And so they would just like fight over toys or things like that. And now they'll give hugs and kisses and they play with each other and they hold hands running outside to go on the trampoline together. And they're making up little games together. I mean, things that never even was on the radar to happen between them. I feel like Annabelle kind of felt like there was just this person in the house that would take up time with mom and dad, but she didn't have any kind of relationship, with him. He understands when somebody's upset and he goes up and hugs, or before he might hit if somebody was crying, especially her.
Who else has noticed a change?
Yeah, my mom, grandma, which she cries every time he calls her grandma because he never called her anything a month ago. Before it was always, she was always hectic, like running around, making sure he wasn't, getting into things, or just like, she would put the TV on for him and like that would keep him occupied. Now they hang out and I'll hear them like laughing hysterically, like something's going on, and they're like, she's like, the fact that I can actually like communicate with him, like he's funny, like he's really a funny kid and we never knew that. His sense of humor is amazing and like we didn't know. So that's been really, really fun. Just get to know him more, I guess.
Wow.
In this past month, like who he is as a little boy, like we didn't know. Yeah.
And what about at preschool?
Every time we talk to them, it's like, oh, August gets really mad, or he really doesn't like to do things that he doesn't like to do. We might be having coloring time, and he doesn't like that, so he just hoards the crayons or throws the crayons, and goes off. And it was always, he likes to be in the puzzle by him, or in the corner by himself doing his puzzles. Yeah. And then we had his annual IEP at the end of the year, which was just, I think, a week or two ago. So that was after the program. The goals were written at the beginning of the year. And then it was like, we wrote the progress and stuff. And they're like, we had to rewrite it. Like, he's done so well. They're like, we had to change everything because now he's participating in circle time and he's doing the movements. And, they literally had to change everything for next year's IEP because he had met those. Like, he's, using words and saying like, he wants more. He's sitting down in color. He's sitting down for circle time and not really yet participating, like answering a question and stuff, but we're just getting that at home. So I imagine
and it's only been a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Right? You still have 3 months left. You still have that whole back end of the program left.
Yeah.
So what's been your biggest takeaway from doing the 333 program?
Let him be him. We actually found out who he was, and we found out all the things that he is capable of doing. And he's an amazing little kid, and he's capable of so much more than we thought.
But could you have done that without help?
No, like we weren't childhood development professionals. I work as an electrician. My wife is at home with the kids, and that's what we know. And we didn't know how to help our son do better. And the biggest thing that I think that we learned is to sometimes just calm ourselves, both August and ourselves, get out of our own way, but then allowing him to have the time and the space to be able to learn to do it on his own and grow.
I also think, we had a lot of communication for those 3 days. Like, we were asking a lot of questions. We were lost because it is changing everything in his world, immediately. If I didn't have somebody to walk me through those steps, I would have given in. I needed somebody when I reached out to be like, no, you're fine. This is fine. This is what he needs. Do this,
What was it like having 2 coaches 24/7 that you could just message and get a response from right away? How was that helpful?
Yeah, amazing. You could just see it. We'd see you, obviously it was time for you to go to bed, and then Jenny would just jump right in. So it was like, we had somebody there 100% of the time in case something happened, and it always does, especially those 3 days,
Yeah, and it did happen during those 3 days.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, talking me off a ledge.
So
Yeah.
what would you say to parents out there who have children with autism who have been doing things that aren't working?
Why not? Why would you not try something? We just kind of looked at each other, just like, what do we have to lose? And this was something that me and my husband could do together. You know, he could be involved, where all the other therapies was me running him around while Paul was at work. And you're doing it as a team for your child.
Or if you are as lost as we were, it is the best decision for you. Like, what else you got to lose? Like,
So you would recommend the 333 program?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, 100%, especially going in, because like we didn't even know how much of a problem we had. Like,
yeah, we didn't know.
we didn't realize how good it could get within a month. And then it turned into our whole world, his whole world changing, our whole family changing. Like, it's been incredible. Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to say or add before we go?
Just thank you.
Yeah,
I
just
guess.
thank you. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for doing what you're doing and going out there and helping people.
Well, we're not done yet. You still have 3 months left.
It's never going to stop too. Like, we'll always keep growing and learning. And
It's not something that you just learn, we did it, and that's it, right? This is a way of life. It's a way of our family dynamic now. And it's something going forward that everything changes as, you know, kids grow up and stuff like that. And it's something that we will continue to use for the rest of our lives, for sure.
Thank you both for talking to me today.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.